Imagine a scenario where nearly half of the civilian workforce at the Department of Defense (DoD) faces furlough due to a government shutdown. This is not just a hypothetical situation. It's a reality that could unfold if Congress fails to reach an agreement on funding. According to the DoD's contingency plan, approximately 334,900 civilian employees would be put on furlough if the government were to shut down. A significant portion of the department's total civilian workforce of around 741,500. To break it down further, about 24% of these employees, which translates to roughly 182,700 individuals, are funded through sources other than the annual appropriations bill that is currently stalled in Congress. Additionally, around 30% of the workforce, or about 223,900 employees, are classified as excepted personnel. These individuals are essential for maintaining critical operations that must continue even in the absence of funding, such as providing medical care, emergency response, and protecting property. This leaves a staggering 45% of the DoD civilian employees facing furlough until new funding is approved by Congress. It's important to note that neither furloughed employees nor those deemed accepted will receive pay during a shutdown. However, a law enacted in 2019 ensures that they will receive back pay once the government reopens. The contingency plan specifies that civilian personnel, including military technicians who are not essential for supporting accepted activities, will be furloughed according to the guidelines set by the Office of Personnel Management. Only the minimum number of civilian employees necessary to carry out accepted activities will be exempt from furlough. This means that decisions about which positions are accepted will be made on an individual basis, taking into account the critical nature of their work. In preparation for a potential shutdown, government agencies are required to publish contingency plans that outline how their operations would be affected. The DoD has identified several key operations that will remain a priority during a funding lapse, including securing the U.S. southern border, ongoing operations in the Middle East, and critical maintenance and production activities. If these efforts are already funded with non-expired money, they can continue even during a shutdown. However, if any of these priority efforts require funding from an appropriated source that has lapsed, senior officials will need to assess whether those efforts can be classified as accepted. The DoD has committed to maintaining a wide range of operations that ensure the safety of human life and property during a shutdown. This includes military deployments, support for combatant commands, and essential medical care for troops and their families. Interestingly, the list of accepted activities also encompasses counter-drug operations deemed necessary for safety and other activities authorized by the Secretary of War. On the flip side, activities that are not directly related to ongoing operations, such as general intelligence analysis, elective medical procedures, and community outreach programs, would be suspended until funding is restored. For military personnel, the situation is slightly different. Active duty service members, including those in reserve components on federal active duty, will continue to report for duty and fulfill their responsibilities, even though they won't receive paychecks until the government reopens. Recently, some House lawmakers proposed legislation to guarantee pay for service members, civilian employees, and contractors in the event of a shutdown, but this bill has yet to be enacted. Moreover, permanent change of station (PCS) moves for military personnel will be restricted during a shutdown to only those that are mission critical, such as transfers that were already funded prior to the funding lapse. For military and civilian employees who are temporarily detailed to other agencies on a reimbursable basis, it's crucial to coordinate with their home organization and legal counsel to determine the legality of continuing their assignments during a shutdown. The DoD has recently allowed its civilian employees to volunteer for roles supporting the Department of Homeland Security, including U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP. Additionally, a plan was approved to detail military lawyers to the Justice Department as temporary immigration judges. When it comes to contracts, the DoD has stated that vendors can continue their work under contracts awarded before a shutdown, provided that funding was already allocated. These vendors may continue to offer services even if they are not directly tied to accepted activities, as long as they do not require access to government facilities or oversight from furloughed employees. However, new contracts or funding increases cannot be issued during a lapse unless they directly support accepted activities. As the clock ticks down, lawmakers have until midnight on September 30th to prevent a lapse in government funding. While the funding bill has passed the House, it still needs to clear the Senate, where bipartisan cooperation is essential. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer faced backlash from Democratic voters earlier this year after supporting a funding deal that many felt was too accommodating to Republican demands. This time, Democratic leaders are asserting that they are on stronger political footing and are contemplating a more assertive stance, even if it risks a shutdown. In a striking display of solidarity, hundreds of federal workers from over 50 agencies have signed a petition urging Democrats to take a stand against what they perceive as executive overreach, even if it means shutting down the government. They are advocating for a stopgap funding bill that not only maintains operations, but also includes safeguards against perceived authoritarian actions by the administration. As Molly Manier, an employee at the National Institutes of Health, expressed, "We do not want a shutdown, but we would rather have a shutdown than the continued dismantling of our institutions and destruction of our public goods that are causing harm to the American people." Meanwhile, organizations such as the Software and Defense Coalition and the Alliance for Commercial Technology in Government are urging Congress to pass a continuing resolution and provide clearer guidance to contractors regarding which activities will be exempt during a shutdown. They warn that a shutdown could severely disrupt acquisition programs, testing, contracting, logistics, and maintenance, leading to significant financial repercussions. A Senate review from 2018 revealed that previous shutdowns cost taxpayers nearly $4 billion in back pay, lost revenue, and late fees. What do you think about the potential impact of a government shutdown on the DoD and its civilian workforce? Do you believe that the risks of a shutdown outweigh the benefits of standing firm on funding issues? Share your thoughts in the comments below.